Alright, so Sultai Diviner. Diviner, for those that aren't super familiar with Standard, refers to this card here, the Soul Diviner. 2/3 for 2, tap it, remove a counter from an artifact, land, or planeswalker you control to draw a card. We have lots of various other things in the deck that produce counters on them, whether they are Vraska Golgari Queen, or Enter the God-Eternal's Amassing, or Hydras, or Kiora is very good alongside Marty. Would like to add this to the queue. Thank you for the sub gifties. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me around. Mono red memekin sounds good. And, yeah, we just got other value creatures. So Kiora is good with Sultai Diviner, but she is also good with various 4-power things. So we've got God-Eternal, Sphinx of Foresight, and Shifting Ceratops here as ways to beat people down. Having 4 of these in the main should make us pretty good against Mono Blue and the Blue-Green Flash deck that's been going around. So I think this deck's pretty close to reasonable. We're gonna play this one in the ranked queue and see how it goes. There is a Blast Zone in this deck. There's one in the mana base. As always, you can type !deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck list. It's also on your overlay. Seems more than reasonable. Blue Cavalier with Kefnet is interesting. I'm gonna write that down. That's actually sounds really sweet. Fredwick, thank you for the 22 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yikes. Yikes. I think I gotta take Tamiyo here. The rest of their hand is, like, really good here, too, but... Looks like Stream Decker didn't refresh properly. Should be good to go now. So we can play Kiora here, which untaps a land. So that way next turn we can double Soul Diviner, which is a little bit better against Teferi. Yeah, opponent's playing like mid-range stuff. Sweet. So, untapped land draw there means I can play both these diviners without having to use Kiora, because every one of her loyalty is, like, valuable, because it can potentially turn into a card draw. If you come across any vampire decks that you'd like, we played a little bit of it on stream. If you're going to start with the vampire deck, you probably want to look at the deck list from the SCG Open this past weekend and see what they're doing. That would be my recommendation, at least. They're on 4-color stuff. Oh, right, they played a Temple of whatever, right? That's really unfortunate. Are they going to kill Soul Diviner or Kiora here? 4-color Dreadhorde, maybe? Shalai and Fibblethip are odd inclusions if they're playing 4-color Dreadhorde, though. Sphinx sounds great. It's gonna let me, Sphinx will let me, draw a card off Kiora next turn. Yep. Four-color Legends. Yeah, that's probably what it is. The Abzan 3-drop. The blue-white law deck was hilarious. We got to do our thing a couple of times, which is all I could really ask for.
I'll match you drop for drop. Let's get moving. Something smells fishy here.
I didn't play this for X's 4, right? So let's do that. I would like to fight this. Then we draw a card. Can we have a midlife crisis yet? Thank you for the 38 months, Gizby. Hey, appreciate that. Welcome back. I think we've died. They didn't kill Kiora.
I've got it.
If we drawn a couple more spells this game, we might have actually been okay, huh? Just unfortunately have not really had any spells. How did Abzan midrange do? We did not play Abzan midrange today. Is midrange done in this format? Yeah, I think so. That's such a sweet animation. Yep. Exile 2 legendary cards for your graveyard until end of turn. Each legendary card in your graveyard gains you can cast this. Keith, this is an advice. We're one step closer to playing tribal advisors in modern. Assassin's Trophy's been a card that I've been pretty happy with. It might just be that I want to cut all the Tyrant Scorns from the main deck of this deck and just play a bunch of Assassin's Trophies. Removal that doesn't hit Planeswalkers consistently feels really bad in this format. Probably to the point where I'm not interested in playing it. I guess I leave these in for now just because killing Kisis is probably reasonably important. Cage or too narrow. Cage doesn't stop Planeswalkers from coming back from the graveyard, so I don't think that's very good here. I think Totem's probably too narrow too. We are not going to get to mid-range today. This is the last deck we're playing. I have to be done by like 2:30 today. Oh, can't cast spells from graveyards. Oh yeah, you're right. It does cast them, doesn't it? I don't think Cage is good enough against their 3-mana Teferi, 4-mana deck either. Is there an acceptable sub for Tails End in Flash? Yeah, just play any other counterspell. I'm not even sure that Tails End is good. That was just me trying to like find a reasonable answer to Hydroid Crisis for that deck. It's the highest win rate deck you play in this format. I have not played a single deck enough to give you a statistically meaningful win rate with the deck. The sample sizes that I have with every deck I've played this season are low enough that the amount of variation in it is not meaningful data. Alright, let's find a 2-drop, huh? You can always find the decks I've had the most fun with that I think are somewhat reasonable on my website. Click Standard Decks at the top. That's the purpose of the Standard Decks page there. I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, we get to be a bit picky, right? We get to scry 3 twice. I am missing my surveil here though. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna thought maybe it's right to wait to Thought Erasure on 3. Just because I can get my surveil then, but like if they have search for Azcanta, I want to take that away from them here. We've got a lot of X4s. I think this card's probably really good in general. I feel like this card adds a lot of consistency to different decks. And especially with the London Mulligan, you're more likely to have this in your opener now when you go to like 5 and 6 and like make those hands even better. I might give this a try in we talked about trying blue-black Kefnet. I might try Sphinx of Foresight in that deck. Welcome to Thunderdome. Enjoy your stay. Unless we get Kaya's Wrath or Cleansing Novit or whatever here, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. Yeah, I'm going to bin a land here. How is Abzan Tokens? Abzan Tokens was fine. That was one of the decks we ended up putting on the website. So as always, I play a lot of different decks in a really short time period. So if you're ever wondering how did Jeff feel about deck X, the best idea is to go back and watch when I had played that deck previously. Because present day Jeff is pretty far separated from when past Jeff played it. So I'm not going to have as good a memory of like everything that's going on there. Maybe I should have played the other Sphinx out here since they could double oath me on 6. That's probably an appropriate line.
Sun in the sky, brine on my skin. Great day to fight.
Everyone is expendable, except me.
I was expecting oath number 4. They took an oath. They draw a way to kill a planeswalker? Nope, just backing it in. Back it up, back it in. Let me begin. Yeah, I'm like trying to think what other decks Sphinx of Foresight could fit into. That card seems very reasonable. Just like a 4/4 scry one every turn adds so much consistency. And like having this your start of turns be super smooth in your mid-range deck tends to be ideal. Could be that there's other Kiora shells that Sphinx is good in too. Opponent's on the play this game. With 4 Kiora, it feels bad to not have a Lotus Field in here. I mean, outside of our 4 Hydras, really don't have anything to do with Lotus Field. And when Lotus Field is like your second land, it's really bad. Be a little bit sad if they have Kethis here, but outside of exactly that legendary creature, I don't really want a Tyrant Scorn. The Artifact aggro deck was kind of a dumpster fire. I'm all alone, there's no one here beside me. Do. I can see them taking any of these cards depending on what their hand looks like. Definitely context specific. Yep. Would love to draw a Thought Erasure of our own here. God bless the Thought Erasure bug. They thought they were erasing my thoughts. My thoughts are mine. You cannot have them. You cannot have them.
And you look like lunch.
Noxious Grasp, yep.
Gonna slip away.
Show me all secrets. Huh? You can just take the Sorin here. Perfect. Yeah, I guess Vraska does kill my thing. I guess I might as well grasp this because it protects anything else from being grasped. Yeah, opponent's playing 4-color legendaries. Oh, they're a hero deck. That makes a lot of sense. Huh? I think we're dead. I don't really have my colors here. I'd be pretty surprised if they're a Dreadhorde deck. They don't really have a lot of ways to gain a lot of life. I guess I could play this tapped and trophy this. You cannot trophy yourself. That is not a legal play. Believe it or not, the 4-color greed does not have a basic. If we hit a green source, we can Hydra the hero. Womp womp. These Hydras feel super clunky. I like having a couple as removal spells. This card's probably too terrible in its every format. Tyrant Scorn's been pretty mediocre. I think removal that doesn't hit Planeswalkers is like pretty low right now, especially 2-mana removal. Especially a deck that's more mid-rangey like this, I need more quality answers to things, I think. So Trophy's gonna go into my main here. I have a couple of slots in the main deck for different things. We're at how many lands right now? 26 lands. That's probably fine with the 4 temples and a blast zone. Maybe the Hydras are just okay. What was our Sultai Diviner deck playing last season? This is one I had up on the site. You're playing a couple of Vraska's Contempt, a couple of trophies. Rulsalisk. Probably don't want Rulsalisk. Maybe it is just Hydras. Just a hypergeometric distribution calculator, Niv. You just Google that, and you'll find them. Put a couple Negates in the sideboard for the Nexus of Fate matchup. And we'll just leave a couple of Scorns and a couple of Hydras in, just like add trophy on top of it. That's probably fine. One of the things I would heavily encourage you to break yourself of, and this is something people do constantly, is having a colorless land in your 3-color deck is not greedy. What determines on whether or not your mana base is greedy is how many colored sources your deck has. So I want you to think about the number of lands that are in this deck. The Blast Zone isn't taking up a colored mana source. The Blast Zone is basically a spell slot. So, like, think about it when I look at a hand like this. It's not greedy to have a Blast Zone in my Thought Erasure deck. Just pretend this was a spell. This is a spell that sometimes casts other spells. The blanket, this is greedy or this is not, based on, like, just a colorless and then looking at the colors of your deck is just nonsense and something people do all the time. If you want to get familiar with intelligent ways to calculate how many sources you need of each specific color in your deck, check out this Mana Math article from Channel Fireball and Frank Karsten. Yeah, this looks great. I'm going to bottom a Drowned Catacomb and we'll get to Scry 3 on 1, dig for some more lands. Maybe I keep the lands and bottom the Scorn. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep the lands and bottom the Scorn, actually. Card just seems so powerful. People undervalue effects like this in the Scry lands that just like add a lot of consistency to your deck. You gain a lot of percentage points just like not stumbling and dying. Do y'all still see me? Has my opponent disconnected? My opponent's timer is going down, so I assume that means they're disconnected and not me. We still see you. Excellent. Peekaboo. Here's Jeffy. Scry me a river, baby. Alright. Yeah, that's great, right? I'm gonna ditch Hinterland Harbor, keep the breeding pool. Yeah, it's like better than drawing a card in some situations. Yeah, probably doesn't matter. I think they're timing out. They probably, like, hit the Q button and then walked away or had something come up. Opponent, come back. Come back, opponent. I don't care about my ladder match when I just want to play games of Magic. Yeah, exactly. Lots of consistency. Alright, take 2. Alright, there we go. Opponent clicked on the cat. Alright, let's actually play a game this time. Yeah, they probably just said something about and then turned around and realized they had joined a game and they needed to leave. Stuff happens, real life. Huh. I think I just take the reef here. I just take the reefer. Like, these decks tend to just have so much mana in them that I think taking their mana creature and hoping they get screwed is generally not a good strategy. Like a lot of these teamer decks are like 2/3 mana. Just one Erasure here. Take your Omnath. Clearing through a bunch of selection here. You know, I don't know that slowing them down was super meaningful here. I guess if we killed it, Overgrowth would be smaller, I guess, or wouldn't have had something to power up. I think this turn I just go like Scorn. That comes into play tapped. Yeah, it does. Yikes. Huh. Alright. I'm gonna play Sultai Miner since we drew Kiora. Huh? It's probably too greedy to like. It's probably too greedy to like take a hit from these for a turn. I think I'm just supposed to kill both of these like this. Like I could like take a hit for 7 and like blow them up next turn with this. That's so much mana. I could just eat the Blast Zone counter here. Hitting the red source before we got to draw 2 cards feels bad. Feels bad, man.
I defy gods. Defying you will be easy.
I'm not sure I understand your question, Mulv.
ashes, life thrives.
Untapping this with Kiora might have been silly. I don't know, maybe I should just wait on that to kill something bigger, potentially. Ceratops is a great draw. Not only is it a fatty, but it also draws a card with Kiora. Ha! You know what's actually kind of funny? You can't untap Kiora. You can't untap this with Kiora, because it's pro-blue. Was it worth it to untap a land and hard cast the flyer instead of attacking? Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, I think I should have done that. I wasn't thinking about Kiora as a mana source. You don't have red mana to cast that, friendo. They didn't realize they needed to pay the mana cost of the spell. Let's say we create a program to calculate mana bases. Let it apart the fact that it should know the valid lands each format. I think mana bases take into account there are cards not always being played on curves. I don't know if I made myself more clear. What you're asking is an incredibly complicated task. So no, that doesn't currently exist, and creating it would be incredibly complicated. There's a lot of conditionals you would have to program in. Noxious Grasp is great here. What do I want to trim? Tyrant Scorn's probably kind of mediocre. The rest of this all seems fine. Hydra's a relatively cheap way to kill Risen Reef as well. Do I know our next Underlord's Day? Tuesday next week at the latest, Beetle. I might squeeze one in over the weekend. I'm waiting for their patch on Thursday. There's some kind of weird flower animation that pops up, Tumos, on occasion. They're supposed to be releasing a big rebalance patch on Thursday. Yeah, this is good. Our lands are a little painful, but we've got like Soul Diviner and Kiora to get an engine going. We got Noxious Grasp to interact with whatever their best creature is that they have to play. Yeah, I will say this. That is, after, like, playing through so many Magic formats where just, like, things are like, I really wish things would change, and lots of people are feeling the same. Like, the fact that Val's been, like, aggressively balancing Underlords is, like, really nice. Not playing on my phone during my wedding? Wow! That's, what a rough rule. Can't play on your phone during your own wedding. It's a hard knock life. Do 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 pew pew. Turning Kiora into Divination Plus feels real good. But wife, I got trolls. We need more trolls, man. It's also the thing about the program is like, especially it's more feasible for standard, and modern things get more complicated when you factor in like what utility lands a certain type of deck wants to prioritize. Valve is doing great with Underlords. They should try a TCG. I think that's a really good idea. I think a TCG probably set in the Dota universe could probably be really successful. I think it'd be awesome if they try that someday. Hopefully in the distant future, like after they get Underlords figured out. Three playing boards sounds kind of silly, Marty. No, I'm not quite sure why you would want your game to have 3 playing boards. Could you explain? Doesn't sound very smart to me as someone who's played a lot of games. Sounds way too complicated. Yeah, I agree. Sounds way too complicated. Remember that time my Sphinx of the Foresight drew 3 cards? Pepperidge Farm remembers. We definitely weren't gonna hit a land drop this game, but now we might. Now we might. Yeah, sounds impossible to watch on Twitch. I mean, there's actual data on that, Blue. You can go look at the data. You don't have to guess is the game declining. You can just go look at the information. Wow. Wow, we were just never gonna, we might never draw a land still, but we definitely were. I'm really glad I didn't get greedy and keep one of those, huh? Holy crap.
I have not survived millennia to stand down now.
Hey, B-Make, thanks for the 24 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Are we dead? Not necessarily. Like, if I hit a land next turn, I get to enter the God-Eternals then? That might keep us in it. This is definitely one of their better starts, but we have an okay start too, and we were on the play. That's a blast zone. All right, so what do I want to do with blast zone? Anything meaningful here? Don't think so. 6 months of actual factual memes. Keep it up. Looking forward to 6 more. Thanks for keeping me around, Sags. I appreciate it. Welcome back.
I love to make a splash.
Yeah, I can enter this turn. And get a 4/4 here, which is not bad. Yep. Yikes.
My bloodline flows through you.
Woof. Someone was speculating on if Underlords was declining in popularity. And I said there's I don't know the answer to that, but there's online data you can look at to see. Do I just take this hit and pressure their Sorin? I think I just take this hit and pressure their Sorin, huh?
I've got that sinking feeling again.
Alright, so... do I want to double block the 6/6 since I only lose one of my blockers? Maybe? I'm 1 mana short of being able to crank this up to 2 and crack it this turn. I'll start by attacking Sword and see what they do. Yeah, I think this is fine. Heart on Twitch, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. A big lover of modern Jund. What do you think is the closest good stuff or Swiss Army knife deck in the current standard format? So, decks similar to Jund are kind of having a pretty hard time in standard right now because traditional mid-range style decks are kind of getting pushed out of the format by what other decks are able to kind of get together, if that makes sense. Like there are a number of decks that just generate so much go over the top card advantage that those fair mid-range decks really kind of struggle in the format. I've played a green-black, I called it a rock deck. It's probably closer to a stompy deck with the changes that we've made a little bit on stream. You can find that on my website. It's got it's a little bit more aggressive than something like Jump, but it does have some removal in it and some planeswalkers. So I think the plan for next turn is if we get to untap with the Kiora, we can tick Blast Zone to 2 and then untap it with Kiora. That's brutal. That's a very aggressive attack. Oh. So this is gonna die anyways. I could trade this here, and then I take 6, go to 4. And then I'm dying regardless of what I do. I could block this here and hope to rip and enter the God-Eternals. Is probably the line. I have one more of those. Even enter didn't really do it here, right? Alright, we get a bunch of cheap removal here. Could drag the curve of our deck down a good bit. These Hydras are really expensive. Not really a Thought Erasure matchup, just want more things that play to the board, I think. What do you feel about Vraska versus Ceratops? I think Ceratops is probably better on average. Yeah, Vampires was the only archetype to put 2 copies into the top 8 of the SCG Open this past weekend. I was Popper this morning. It was alright. I don't know. I felt like the deck that we played was a little bit inoptimal, but the format itself seems interesting. The Simic Flash deck is very good. I'd imagine Black-Red Aristocrats is probably okay against that, especially if you have Duresses in the sideboard. On the play especially, you should have a good chance running them out. The Simic Flash deck struggles when people get underneath it. If you can have good removal for killing their Night Packs, they're probably can't do a whole lot against you. Especially if you have like shocks and stuff to kill their smaller stuff too. It's fine. And we've played the Vamp decks before already, so if you haven't seen us play the Vampires deck, you can go back on my YouTube channel and watch it there. Huh. Alright, well, I definitely don't want this. I think I just want up to land 4 here. So we'll go turn 1, Watery Grave. Turn 2, Hinterland Harbor, Soul Diviner. Turn 3, tapped land, Noxious something. Turn 4, land 4-drop. Seems good. Hey, neat sir. Thank you for the quarter of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I would venture to guess like every matchup that the blue-green flash deck has, it's super play draw dependent. If the blue-green flash deck is on the play and gets under you, like you're just not gonna have a good time. I also think the types of play patterns that the blue-green deck executes makes the losses that you have feel much worse than they actually are. So from an emotional perspective, the losses leave you feeling way more salty than they actually are on average. So like the losses stick with you more than the wins do. The losses are miserable and the wins are forgettable. Is the way it works out. And as humans, we're like programmed to remember those hard, miserable things more than the good things and the neutral things. Tokens. I don't know if I have really any suggestions for tokens. Tokens isn't really an archetype in the format that I would be worried about. As far as vampires is concerned, I'd make sure you have 4 copies of Shock in your 75. I don't think beating Flash is comparable to Esper at all. Like wow, their hand must have been really bad. The Flash deck operates on a completely different axis than like what the Esper deck does, in my opinion. Like the Esper deck is these big go over the top card quality plays, whereas like the Simic Flash deck is like 1-for-1s and close edges for the most part. Yeah, it felt like they were trying to be interactive. Like, they played a Baffling End on 2. I wonder if, like, they had more Baffling Ends that just weren't going to do anything against our draw. Yeah, Simic, the blue-green flash deck is much more comparable to mono-blue aggro. Not really looking for a 5th land. Which figure is so good. Been really happy with this card in general. Yeah, I think from I would describe the flash deck as emotionally taxing. T-Rex, thank you for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. Welcome. Honestly, I should probably just fit 4 Disfigures into every deck I'm playing right now. I feel like as long as Vampires is a deck, playing 4 of that card is pretty important. How do I feel about Elementals? I feel like it does not have a lot of the builds I've seen don't seem like they have good tools for not dying to aggro. And that's the question. How do you make that archetype not just die to vampires and other things like that? And if they have a removal spell for the Ceratops, you might be in a little bit of trouble. So I actually made a small mistake here. We didn't get punished for it, but last turn I should have played the Breeding Pool untapped instead of the Watery Grave, because that way if I drew a Drowned Catacombs this turn, I could have played the Ceratop without having to shock to do so. Just a pass here is incredibly good for us. Is there a specific reason to not use Obnixes during the opponent's turn? I don't know. What do I gain from doing it? What value do I gain by waiting? Yeah, I mean, in the matchups where Disfigure is good, it's the best card in your deck. Like, not close. Alright, we both get to draw some cards here. Yeah, like, there's cards in the format that punish me for waiting, and, like, the upside for waiting is, like, minimal, right? I mean, need is a strong word, but I would, in general, recommend 4 copies of Disfigure in most black decks right now. Unless you feel like your deck has an exceptional mono blue and vampires matchup, like you want 4 Disfigure in those matchups most of the time. From a resource efficiency perspective, it's very key. Sorin is really good here because it lets a Danto Vanguard attack through Shifting Ceratops.
Heart Innistrad immediately, or you will taste my blade. This is but a taste of my
Yep. Oh, I'm dumb. Oh, I'm dumb. I had intended to kill this. Now they get to flip this over. Am I trophying that? I'm not sure that I am. Yeah, I think I am. I kill that now before they can make a thing.
I ebb and flow with battle.
You do, in fact, ebb and flow, Kiora.
Time to ebb from battle.
Time to ebb from battle, yep. Let's do this now. I'm gonna have Ceratops smack Sorin here. This does not gain vigilance, right? Yeah, reach, trample, haste. Is there a command for everything on the channel? Anything repetitive or redundant that could get asked, we basically make a command for. Because it's annoying for me to repeat it, and there's, actually, I'm pretty sure this is a command. There it is. I knew it said that at some point. Yeah, not a problem, Thomas. Questions are always great here. We just use the command so that way there's a little bit less repeating. Yeah, that temple basically drew a card. Is a great way to think about it. So I think we're favored on average from a position like this because our deck has a lot of really big top decks in it. But I also think like our opponent's not out of the game by any means. We're gonna do Underlords on Tuesday at the latest. I'm kind of waiting for their balance patch to drop on Thursday. Maybe I'll sneak some in Friday morning. Maybe we'll slot it in Friday. If the patch is as big as they said it was gonna be on Thursday, we'll sneak some in Friday morning. That's one of their better draws. Yikes. Yeah, me too. Gosh, maybe I should have left this back. If they have double sword and we're dead because of the snow blocks. Are they dead to removal? How are they dead to removal? They have 2 4/4s. Yeah, I can deal 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm supposed to bottom this. I'm gonna draw a land and just be really sad. That is not a land, nor am I really sad. That is not a land, nor am I really sad. Thunk. I forgot to leave a black land up. I was so excited. I was so excited that we drew that. I forgot to leave a black source up. So I could draw a piece of black removal with this this Soul Diviner this turn. Rude. Alright. Not punished. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that, Midiz. Maybe I should have attacked with the Ceratops and then given it trample and they blocked with their 4/4. I don't want to be dead to Scorn or Lightning Helix here, so let's do this. This leaves me needing a live draw again here. Blast Zone would be an absurd draw. Blast Zone is lethal. I got one of those in my deck. Diviner the counter off of a Danto, right? How absurd would this card be if it was just like Hex Parasite that drew you cards? Well, glad we played around that one. They might want to throw this Vanguard at Soul Diviner. I guess they could just throw one at me, actually. We might actually be dead to the Sword regardless. This is the new 3-mana Sorin. This is the card that made vampires playable. Very, very powerful. Yeah, I think they might just see this thrown in my face. Really? Okay, that seems loose. Feel like you're just supposed to give my face a love tap there. Yeah, I get 2 shots to not brick off here. Yeah, I think I'm out of outs here, right? Because, like, I have to block both their things next turn, and they pay 4, and they pump the other. Yeah, I just don't have any catch-up mechanic from here. Alright, let's try one more with this. Feels a little rough. I kind of feel like the Soul Diviner portion of this deck's a little bit clunky. The Sphinx of Foresight, every time we play Sphinx of Foresight, just like since that card's been printed, it's been really impressive. But the actual Soul Diviner aspects felt clunky. Ceratops is also a real good dino in case you haven't played with that card yet. Just like plenty main deckable card that randomly dunks on the mono blues and the Simic Flashes of the world. I'm gonna keep this. We're on the draw and we have a scry. Any blue source this hand kind of heads off to the races. Vampires is probably the laddering deck of choice for a lot of people, huh? It's like relatively aggressive. Even if it's not an untapped one, we hit the blue source here. They have the 4/4 here, Sanctum Seeker. That's also pretty good. Need an untapped land next turn. So we're taking 6 on this combat step. 7 from this. This has reach as well, basically. I need to... Oh, yikes. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is even good enough. This is gonna get this out of range of being blocked here. Vomit. Icon gives all their vampires +1/+1. Yeah. I think this is just a deck that got pretty outclassed this season. Which was sad, because this deck felt pretty okay last season, but it just kind of feels like the other decks in the format got more value at their top end, and they got more efficient at the bottom end. And I feel like I'm struggling in both directions. Like, people who generate a lot of value can go over the top of what I'm doing, and then like this vampire deck's also getting underneath my game plan as well. Does anyone know where to find SCG matches? They eventually put them on their YouTube channel. In the meantime, you can go to twitch.tv/SCG Tour. You should be able to find the archives there. The fandom tournaments are every Thursday, and they invited me back this week. So Thursday, 2 days from now, we'll start about they start 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. I get 4 shots at a black source. YOLO. Yeah, to be fair, Come Eat Pizza, there are a lot of these decks that we're going through that like aren't really working super well. There are decks that were submitted before the format was really matured more. So as now that we have a better idea of like what's fully going on in the format, I'm going to be a little bit more selective about the mid-range decks I take. So the deck queue generally has like a 2 to 3 week backlog if someone submits with the minimum donation amount. So as the formats pivot, it's not always kind to decks that weren't quite up to snuff as the pivots happened. Now I think I'm gonna play the Sultai Flash deck, Stormbreath Dragon.
I'll show you dry water. Something smells fishy here. One drop ripples and grows.
It is definitely neato. I agree with that descriptor. But what we're doing is novel. I don't think it's very good anymore, but it's definitely novel. Fine, I guess I'll draw another card.
Leave my squids alone. Feel like fighting it.
Leave my squids alone. Mercy for squids, mercy for squids. Yeah, Kiora's like at worst a divination when you have Diviner out, which is nice.
I love to make a splash.
Yep. Alright, if we can hit a land next turn, we can use Kiora to ramp and to enter the God Eternals.
Drop for drop. You're making me crabby.
I'm done. Okie doke. Bad decks, bad variants. I could have played a 4-drop there. I don't know. I think we're done. Yeah, this is one that's going to get deleted off the website as opposed to just being updated. I feel like from an efficiency standpoint, the aggressive decks like Vampires and Mono Red just like get under us with too much consistency, and from a go over the top standpoint, this Soul Diviner card advantage engine just isn't good enough to keep up in the format. And it kind of makes sense, right? Like all the decks that were good last season got a new set of cards added to them, and they got to replace their weakest cards with more powerful cards, and everything became more efficient. And these decks that were only tier 2 to begin with kind of get pushed lower and lower as the better decks get better and better. So as card pools get bigger, the better decks get more optimized, and the worst decks fall off even further. Looking forward to rotation in the fall. Anywho, that's going to be it for me for today. Remember, if you want to see more content from myself, you can check out my website and my YouTube channel. We did play some Pauper this morning, so if you're into that format, that'll be up on my YouTube channel this evening. And then a little bit earlier today, because I got some family coming into town to visit tonight. I'll be back tomorrow morning about 8 a.m. Central Standard Time doing some Magic Online in the morning, rounding out into some Standard in the afternoon again to continue the search for fun, sweet things. Who is playing? William Jensen is playing some Standard. Let's give him a host.